Whether you're starting a website and you're not sure of which extension you need, or you're just interested in domain extensions, we're glad you're here. This video will answer your questions and more. Hi, this is Jake with Business Name Generator. You're probably aware that there are a wide range of domain extensions out there. You know, .com, .net, .org. But what purpose do they serve, and what's the difference between them all? We have the answers you're seeking. But first, if you like the information you're hearing on the BNG channel, don't forget to give us a like, and don't forget to share it with your friends. Domain name extensions are a part of your full internet address. When someone types a domain name system routes to the IP address that's registered to that domain name and extension. If you accidentally type in .net instead of .com for a web address, you'll find yourself at the wrong site. Unless the owner of the .com address also owns the .net domain and then uses that URL to route you back to the .com address, which is the address that you wanted to go to in the first place. Sorry, I got carried away there. Don't worry if you don't understand, we'll explain more later on. For now, let's look at the differences between domain extensions. The most common type of domain extensions are .com, .net, and .org, which are also referred to as top-level domains, or TLDs. These domains all have connotations for your brand, so knowing your brand inside and out is a must-have before choosing a domain extension. We covered this in more detail in our video that uncovers the 7 secrets to choosing the right domain name. There's a link in the description below. But for now, let's take a look at those extensions and examine those brand connotations. .com domains are the most commonly used extension on the web. In fact, a report from Statista shows that as of 2022, over 50% of sites on the web use this extension. At the start of the internet, .com was the extension established for commercial entities and businesses. Follow the money and you'll find out why .com became so popular. The biggest pro for having a .com extension is that it's the first thing that comes to mind for anyone typing in a web address. And the only real con is that the domain name you want is probably already taken. And if you're starting a new online business, you can see why this extension should probably be your primary choice. But it doesn't have to be. The .net extension has a tradition in network-related sites like internet and telecommunications providers. Your site doesn't have to fall under this category for you to use it. More on that later. But there's a loose precedent for reserving that extension for this type of site. Although .net isn't at the top of the usage list, it's acceptable if you brand and market your site effectively, and especially if your business deals in those traditional categories. The beauty of a .net extension is that there's a higher probability that the name you want is available. However, you'll also need to overcome some hurdles to gain more traffic, as it's not as popular as .com. .org extensions are primarily used by nonprofit organizations. They give those organizations credibility for users to click that donate button. They also create a potential to partner with others in the global nonprofit sector. Again, with this extension, you don't have to be a nonprofit to use it. However, there's a more serious precedent with .org over .net. Rule of thumb, if you make a profit, stay away from this one. So why can for-profit organizations use a .org and why can non-network related websites use .net? Well, despite their traditional affiliations, the top-level domains or TLDs we listed are all open, meaning anyone can register these domains without having to meet any sort of qualification. There's nothing legally preventing a for-profit company from using a .org website or a non-network company from using .net. And ICANN, the organization that manages domain registry, they let it happen. In fact, some businesses actually choose to buy all variations of a domain extension to protect their branding. But again, there are connotations associated with the domain forged by over 30 years of common internet usage. So best practice is to go with tradition here. On the other hand, we have closed TLDs. Our friend ICANN does have domains that require an application to approve your association with that domain extension. Extensions like .museum, .arrow, or .travel are extensions that actually require you prove that you're a museum, air travel, or tourism organizations before you register the domain. Similarly, in many countries, .gov can only be used by governmental organizations and .edu can only be used by educational institutions. And the restrictions are even higher for country code extension. You'll need to prove that your organization actually exists in that country in order to register that extension. One last tip. No matter which extension you need for your site, it's a good idea to register additional extensions to route people to your primary site. That way, when somebody accidentally types .co instead of .com, they still get to where you want them to go. You can use our domain name generator to find the perfect domain for your site. And when you're ready, you can secure and register that name with multiple extensions and with a reliable domain name registrar. For more information on choosing, buying, and registering a domain name, click the link to our Domain Name Series playlist in the description below. It's full of useful information for anyone creating an online business or just creating a personal page. Until next time, bye.